Welcome to the Single on Purpose podcast. I'm your host, Brittany Batts, and I'm super excited to be here with you today. I'm also the author of Single on Purpose book, and this is a place for all of my single girls, ladies, no matter how old you are, that are in their single season or thinking about going into their single season. Now, we're going to dive into some personal growth, self-discovery, and how to live with intention in your single season. And I'm so excited that you're here today because in this episode, I have a big question for you, and it's, are you really single? Now, I don't mean single as in your relationship status on your profile. I mean single in your heart, your mind, and your actions. Are you embracing your single season, or are you just trying to survive it? And I want to unpack what being single really means, because I had to learn that even though my relationship status said I was single, I wasn't really single, and in my heart and in my mind. So let's start with this idea of singleness. So society often defines being single as just basically not being in a relationship, right? But true singleness goes so much deeper than that, and I have had the opportunity to learn that. But in the beginning, I didn't know that. Being single is more than just your relationship status. It's about how you see yourself, how you spend your time, and whether you are truly available to really embrace the season, or if you're filling it with other things. So here's the tough truth: you can be single on paper, but emotionally tied up with distractions. So whether it's staying busy, constantly seeking external validation from other people and places, or just always spending money, all of these things really will help you come to answer this question. And it helped me. So let's take a few steps back. So what does single actually mean to you? I believe that at first it just meant that there wasn't someone that I called my boyfriend, right? And then that my status said single, right? That no one ever saw me with anyone. But the truth is, I was single in life, but I wasn't single in my heart. My true desire was really to be distracted from being single. I always wanted to and found myself doing a ton of things, and I was filling my schedule so I didn't have to sit alone with my thoughts. I didn't have to sit by myself. I did not know how to do that. I would turn to social media. I was on dating apps, and I was distracting myself all of the time so that I didn't have to feel alone, so I didn't have to feel single. It felt better, right? And sometimes we find ourselves going back to exes or people that we know should not be in our space or in our life anymore, because we don't want to feel alone, because they bring distractions. They distract us from the truth of being single. So I think it's so important to look at the fear of being alone, the feeling of loneliness, and I think it's so important to address them. And we can have so many distractions that keep us from understanding that we have a fear of being alone, that we don't like being single, that it hurts being by ourselves. And I think that desire and that need to be with someone is normal, but I do think sometimes we can blow it out of proportion, and sometimes even drop some of our standards just to not feel alone, be alone, and have so many distractions around us. So how do we move past those distractions and fully embrace our single season, right? So we're going to talk about a few ways to help you do that. And the first one, I think, is just reflecting on your current mindset. I want you to take a moment to think about how you really feel about being single, right? Are you at peace with it, or do you feel like restless? Do you want it to be over? Are you wishing your single season away, I like to say? Do you spend time with yourself? I know it sounds cliche, right? But it's so important to carve out time to be alone with yourself. Now, whether it's journaling, taking walks, which I love, sitting in the quiet, I think these moments really help you connect with yourself and your thoughts, and definitely your feelings. And I just really think it's so important to look at the habits and patterns that you're used to. And I think fully embracing your singleness allows you sometimes to actually stop doing certain things that you used to do that may be distractions that you don't really need in your life anymore. And when you clear out the noise, you give yourself the opportunity to see the truth, clarity, self-discovery. And this is when the magic really happens, because you get real with yourself. It's so important to get real with yourself, because that's where true change can happen. Now, I really will say I have a ton of these all over my house, and they're journals. I will tell you that journaling has changed my entire life. And you know what? I didn't even value it. I didn't even value it till years later, why I love to write things down. Now, I have a ton of reasons why, but I did not value the importance of writing down and spending time with myself and my thoughts, taking walks, in quiet time. I always had to be doing something. I was always distracted. But I will tell you this, it is so important to be able to sit with your thoughts, write them down, and just reflect. And I will tell you, one of the coolest things about journaling is when you have a journal that you have completed, you keep it, you put it on your shelf, and maybe 2 or 3 years down the road, you pick that journal back up and you can see how much you've grown, how good God has been in your life, how much you've changed, or just how many things you used to journal about that you have overcome. And it's such an amazing thing that I love when I pop into a place that I haven't been in a while, or a bookshelf or something. But oh my gosh, that's my journal. And I open it, I start looking, it's like, wow, I was going through that. Wow, I was asking God to help me through that, or I was struggling with that. And just to see how I'm not struggling with it anymore, or how God has released me from that season in my life, or how I have been encouraged and empowered to build new habits that have moved me forward to becoming stronger and better in that area, keeps me motivated and it keeps me going, and I absolutely love it. And being single is full of seasons, right? It's not really one season. There's seasons where I am like, yes, let's live my best life, and there are seasons where I'm like, I kind of am lonely in this season in my life. And I always want to be so honest and transparent about being single and living it purposefully. It's not always easy, but it's always purposed. And I believe that when you're connected with yourself and with your thoughts and your feelings and you're honest, you're able to really get real with yourself and make the changes that you need to make to continue to grow and to continue to be who you feel you've been called to be. Now, let me go a little bit deeper into that. Like I said, I struggled a lot with distractions and always having to do something because I did not know how to sit by myself. And at this time, self-care was not a big thing, right? And even now, self-care really is equated to spending money, really. And it's your external appearance a lot of times. But self-care is so much more than that. Sometimes self-care doesn't cost anything. It's just I took an extra 20 minutes out of my day to just sit with myself in peace and quiet, or to take a walk, or to take a run, or to do something for my soul and my spirit, to renew my mind, to rejuvenate, to bring back joy, to bring back humility and gratitude, right? And I was not doing any of that, and I was always all over the place, always so busy, and in those moments, it brought so much anxiousness and anxiety and need. It was too much. And sometimes when we don't take time to refocus and recenter ourselves, we could really lack in an area, and we could really be protruding another area, right? And it's not that there's something wrong with any of the areas. It's just, to me, they're out of balance. I needed to spend more time with myself and with God so that I could recenter myself and refocus on my values, refocus on what really matters, refocus on what God is calling me to do, refocus on just everything around me and my blessings, and to bring out that humility that I believe that is so essential to life, because it brings gratitude and joy, right? I wasn't doing that. So I was really protruding in my area of friendships. I was so needy. But when I was able to reflect and I was able to learn a new habit of sitting with myself and understanding it's okay to be alone and sit in the quiet, and it's a good thing, and reflect and journal, I started to grow. And this area that used to be protruding and too much, too needy, it started to pull back. And I could actually sit in those relationships with others better. I could be a healthier version of myself now because I was not overcompensating from a lack of really self-care, in my opinion. I needed to be single. I needed to understand how to sit with myself. I needed to be lonely because in those hard moments are when you're able to take a look at yourself, you're able to grow, and you're able to, the next time you're presented with something similar, you're able to navigate it better. You're able to, oh, I've been here before. Oh, I know God's got me. Oh, I know how to get through this. Well, you know what? I actually don't know how to get through this, but I know I've been through something similar before. And I know that God's going to show me, and He's going to present the people and the places and the things that I need around me so I can make it through this season in my life. You know what? I feel like I'm spending too much money and spending too much time wanting. Maybe I need to sit with myself and with God and bring back that humbleness and reflect and that gratitude and realize, wait, you know what, God, I'm so grateful for the roof over my head. I'm so grateful that I don't have to want for anything and that I'm taken care of. You do provide for me. You are a great God. You do what you say you are going to do. I just need to sit sometimes, renew my mind and calm my spirit. Because when I don't, it's just all over the place. It's like this, you know that ball? It's like this little ball, and just if you bounce it, it's going all over the place, right? And when you finally catch it, you're holding on to it, and that's really what you want to do with your thoughts, your spirit, and your soul. You got to catch it sometimes and bring it back to the center, right? And refocus it. And it's normal. I believed at one point in time that you would do this one time in your life and then you would never have to do it again. That's not true. You have to consistently renew your mind. You have to consistently fall at the feet of Jesus. You have to consistently pray and praise. You have to consistently ask God to come into those places and help you see where you can grow better and help you see your distractions. There are tons of times I get off of social media because there was a period where all I did was, it wasn't jealousy, it was envy. I wanted to go here, I wanted to do that, I wanted that, I wanted that. I was so envious of everything because it's so overstimulating for me sometimes that I realized, turn it off. And when I turned it off, it allowed me to realize you really don't want any of that. You really are happy with what you have. And that brings me back to what I was saying about humbleness is gratitude, right? And you realize I don't need to go on 10 vacations a year. I don't need all of that to be happy. I'm actually happy. I'm already happy. So those distractions, not always taking them away permanently, but maybe temporarily, just taking a break, fasting from them for a little while will help you. So my question is, what is distracting you? What is taking up the majority of your time? What do you spend the most time doing? When I was asked that question, then I was like, oh, okay, I see now. Yes, that is my priority. It's just that simple. You prioritize what you spend the most time doing. You prioritize what you think about the most, and you prioritize what you truly love in your heart, right? And when you can answer those questions, just sit and ask yourself, am I okay with these things, or are they distractions? If they're distractions, could I do away with them for a week or two? Could I give them back to God? I will tell you, when I got off social media, this one hurt, I'll be honest, because I did not know if you deactivate your profile for 7 days, 14 days, it completely deletes. I decided to fast from social media for I think about 21, 30 days and came back to nothing, years. And at this time, my social media meant so much to me. I was devastated. I was like, God, why? Like this was like my online diary because I blog and I write and things like that. And I was devastated. But once I realized, wow, you were so connected. You were in such deep need of your social media that you didn't even know it was that big of a distraction, that it was that much of a priority in your life. And once I was able to get through that, God really helped me sit and realize, wait, it's important, but it's not that important, right? It's fun, but I don't need it all the time, right? And once again, it's that area that was protruding, and I needed to grab it. Remember that ball? I needed to grab it. I needed to bring it back. And I needed to recenter and refocus. It's not that social media is bad. It's just I needed to rebalance the way that I was using it in my life so that it didn't become a distraction. The same thing with dating apps, y'all. Like, you get excited because you get the hits, you get the messages, and you get the dings throughout the day. Like, someone likes me, and it's validation, right? Yes, external validation feels good. You're human. Of course you want to be liked and loved and thought about and all these things. Of course, it feels amazing, right? It's supposed to. But once again, you don't want to become too dependent on it. You don't want it to become a distraction, because now you don't go to church. Now you don't volunteer. Now you don't call your friends. Now you are staying up a little late, or doing things you wouldn't normally be doing. Now you're like thinking, well, maybe, you're pushing the limits a little bit. You can come over. But the thing is, I truly believe that, honestly, God will tear down every single relationship that is not meant for you. Okay, I can tell you right now, I don't even really have to do anything. God will tear it down. He will tear it down. And I don't really even get to be a month into it, and God already, I'm like, okay, clearly, because you know how we are. Sometimes we see the best in a man, and we want to make him better, and we let things slide, and we let our values go to the side, and our standards. These were our standards, but now they're here because he's cute, or he's funny, or because I don't want to be alone. But once again, it's a distraction. Once again, you're allowing an area to overcompensate for spending time by yourself. Yes, sometimes it's hard. Yes, sometimes it's lonely, but it refocuses you, and it goes, you know what? You can't come over. You can take me out. You know what? How about, do you go to church? What are your values? What are your goals? It refocuses you, not on satisfying the craving and the need to have someone next to you or validate you, but it refocuses you on your purpose. And you know what? I want a relationship that's intentional, and I want to be with a man that is intended to do me well, to move me forward, to love me towards God, not pull me away from him. And when you allow yourself to spend time with God and refocus and journal and pull away those distractions for a couple days or a week at a time, every month, every 6 months, every year, it really does so much good. It does so much good. So it helps you realize, am I really single though? Or is it just a status? Is it just because no one's next to me, or because I don't have a ring on my finger? I wasn't single. I desired connection so much. I didn't know how to be by myself. I didn't even know how to be by myself. I didn't even really like being by myself. And the truth is, how can you ask for someone to be around you and you don't even want to be around you? And learning how God sees me and learning what I like and what I dislike, I love being able to share that with myself and with people, and just be more comfortable and who God created me to be, and his love for me has all come from spending time with him and removing distractions. And it's come to a place now, are you really single? Absolutely. And not only am I single, but I'm single on purpose. And I believe it's so important to get to that place because we all have a purpose. You have a purpose. You have been created by purpose himself. There is purpose already inside of you. It's just a matter of recognizing that, spending time with God, spending time by yourself, journaling, removing the distractions so that you can truly walk in that purpose and that calling. And so when he does bring someone in your life, you are able to see if that person aligns with you and can push you forward, or will that person be a distraction? So grab the book, Single on Purpose. I believe it will be a blessing to your life. It is truly an amazing book of how God has used my singleness, I believe, for such a time as this. So I can't wait to the next episode with you all. Thank you for tuning in to my podcast, Single on Purpose. And until next time,